Go.
Here we go.
How you doing, everybody? This is Dennis Michelson. Welcome to the science of fantasy football. Why the science of fantasy football? You get a meteorologist and a biologist together. They're going to use the scientific method that is guaranteed to be a smarter way to handle statistics. How can I give any guarantees in fantasy football? Well, it just means to use the scientific method, just means that you're going to let the statistics guide you to an answer. And that's always the smarter route when you're talking about a data driven game like fantasy football. And joining me as he does each and every episode, he is the fantasy professor, a real professor. It's John Bush. And John, we're heading into week 17, and my goodness, some of these teams are making some moves that are very interesting.
Well, we'll probably talk about that, but it seems that there is an overload of new quarterbacks and people that they rounded up at the bus station or off the couches or from the high schools or whatever. We've seen that happening. So I'm just wondering who else is coming back that we haven't, in the next day or two that we can't predict. I don't know, Dennis. It could surprise me. Uh,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, uh, I don't know. I just have no clue what's going on with all this. I'm sure you got some comments.
Oh,
My
breaking,
first thing,
breaking news on Washington.
uh-oh.
Breaking news. They have hired a medium to negotiate bringing Billy Kilmer back from the
Oh,
dead to play
Dennis,
quarterback this
Dennis,
week.
be
Oh, no.
sweet.
No, it's Josh Johnson, the
Yeah,
39-year-old who
yeah.
will now have played with 14 different teams in his
Wow.
career.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a landmine, folks. I hope that you're not having to grab any of those. I actually have Rivers because Minshew was on IR, and believe it or not, that team made it into the finals with a quarterback in IR. I think I had Puka on that team and some other good RBs, and that allowed me. I think I had maybe Schultz or Strange or somebody in my tight end. So, and had the Giants defense. So I think everything else seemed to click. So I had a dead space last week, and I
Wow.
still beat my opponents. So I'm sure they're pissed about that. When you've got eight and somebody beats you with seven, that's not good. That's bad. That's Waffle House 24-hour punishment.
Earlier in the season, I had a Superflex Dynasty League team where I happened to be going up against the top rated team, the best record in the league at that point,
Yeah.
and I ran out of quarterbacks. I had no quarterbacks to play in a super flex, and I won that week. So
Wow.
it is crazy crackers what can happen sometimes in some of these leagues if you have a couple of guys go off. But this week, no Brock
Oh,
Bowers,
yeah.
no Rashee Rice,
Nope.
Mariota out, Jordan Mason out, McCarthy is out. At this time, as we are taping on Christmas Eve, you've got Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Jordan Love, all questionable and not a sure bet to play. And here's the question I have for you. I have never I don't remember as many teams that are just shutting down before the end of the season as we've seen this year. And, you know, usually week 17, teams have, this outside chance at a playoff position. There usually is only about 3 or 4 teams eliminated. We seem to have more eliminated this year. But the dead teams is what I'm going to call them. Miami switched to Quinn Ewers, the 7th round rookie draft pick. He looked
Yeah.
awful last week. You cannot tell me that Tua would not have played better.
No.
You got the Jets using Brady Cook. You got Kansas City that is going to use this Oladikin kid who's been on their practice squad the last 3 years. He actually has played good in preseason, but that's preseason going up against third and fourth stringers. You got Washington going to Josh Johnson. Are those 5 teams? Miami, Jets, KC, and Washington, as that's 4 teams, I guess. Are those 4 teams basically dead where you'd have to be really desperate to play anybody?
So let's see. It was Miami, Washington,
KC, and the
KC,
Jets.
and the Jets. Wasn't
You
there
got to
one
be,
more?
there might be, well, in Minnesota. Sorry.
Yeah.
Minnesota is the other one.
Yeah.
With the guy we've already seen
Yeah.
play poorly. So
Yeah.
Max Bowers or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah, that
So we got
Max
basically,
Brosmer.
yeah,
So you got
yes.
five dead teams that are starting quarterbacks that, quite frankly, have no business starting in this league. I mean, Philip Rivers, a 44-year-old guy who had been out of the league for 5 years, is a much better choice than any of these teams are putting out as quarterback. And all of those teams are, of course, fighting in the opposite direction for a better draft pick. I think they're just shutting down.
Yeah.
Like, I think if KC was in the running for a playoff game, you would have seen a much better quarterback brought in. You would have seen Rice playing the last
Mhm.
2 weeks. Vegas the same way. Bowers would be out there if they still had a puncher's shot at a playoff spot. Miami closed down as soon as they were out of contention. Jets are out of contention. They put Garrett Wilson out, for the season. I mean, there's so many teams that are just flushing the rest these last 2 weeks. It makes perfect sense because you don't want to get a guy that you're relying on next year get hurt this late in the season and not be ready for next year. But boy, it really messes with fantasy football. And I'm not sure we would have predicted that the Chiefs and the Commanders would have missed the playoffs this badly, or Miami.
It it's another landmine because you're thinking the running backs, the wide receivers, the tight end, the kicker, the defenses, everything. It's not like it's an isolated thing. It's a system, Dennis. And if the one wheel's wonky, that hurts your suspension, that wears unevenly, the tires, the
Yep.
engines, not 100%. I mean, everything just gets out of whack. And I, I, I don't know enough theory I've never been a coach, so I don't know, but it's not good from the fantasy perspective. It causes more questions and uncertainty in my head, and it probably makes me reach for safety maybe when I need to be reaching for ceilings, for a little bit of upside. So I don't know. Will we hear this week 18? Is people saying they use Justin Jefferson one more time or that kind of thing? And they're mad and fantasy football's luck. I mean, you can hear the diatribe right now, you know, and I think there's going to be some sour grapes about it, you know. Well, I shouldn't, I knew not to do it, but I did it anyway. And it's just makes it harder on us. So I think I'm looking for teams that have something to play for, and that's
Yes.
that's what I'm, trying to work on, and that just adds complexity to it. So I've thought it's been a lean season, uh, and I'm not convinced it hasn't been a lean season. We'll have to look at it off season and think about it. Here's what I'll say of the teams that made my finals, Dennis, most of them going in week 15 were first or second. I
Yeah.
don't have teams that were sixth, fifth, or fourth even. They're gone. That, in other words, they were kind of eh. And some years I've really seen kind of the opposite, where I've had a lot of those marginal teams march in, and I didn't see it this year. So, that's one way to measure. That may be the measure for your diary, is just note how many, fourth, fifth, kind of do buckets. One, two, three, four, five, six. Where is your success here? Going in. And then I would say look at the four, five, six bucket. What can you have, in your draft board? Where did it go? Was it injury? I mean, if it's injury, it's injury, right? If it's, you can't help it, it's injury, you know. But and the one, two, three, what did you do right? How can I make my lower ones better for next year? So in your diary, I'm feeling this year, Dennis, it kind of slapped me in the face. This year was very apparent that if I didn't have a fairly good team in week 15, here I am in the finals. I probably don't have that team. My good ones, my solid ones, like I said, my one, two, three teams tended to be here now. So, which is not a surprise. It's just in the past, I think my four, five, six teams, I've had better success. So you might look in your diary, and it makes me want to go back to last year. I'm not sure I paid attention to that. So I need to start checking that as well.
Yeah. And my three teams that are remaining in FPPC. So I started with 18.
Yeah,
I had 14 that made it to the playoffs.
yeah,
I had seven that made it to the final four
yeah.
in the finals, a little lower than I wanted to be. I got the 14 to the playoffs like I wanted to. Like
Yeah,
that's my goal.
yeah,
14 of 18 is satisfactory.
yeah,
Seven making it to the semis is not bad.
right,
That's about where I expect to be.
right.
And I'm a little low on where I am with my finals, but
Yeah.
still three are in good shape. Of those three, first, second, and sixth seeds going into the playoffs.
Is the second team the sixth seed?
Um, the sixth seed team that I had, and in our pre-show, we were looking
Yeah.
at my teams.
Was that the second one?
The last team that the
Yeah.
number two seed was that August 19th team. That was the team that has Prescott and
Yeah.
Nix. The
The first team,
number
August
one
3.
seed, yeah, the August 3 team was actually my number. Actually, I had two number two seeds. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
And my last team, my August 12th team, was
Yeah.
the one that just barely made the
Yeah.
playoffs.
That's the one I would have predicted too.
Yeah, yeah. That one is the one with Herbert
Yeah.
at quarterback.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Olave, Pittman will be my guys.
Mhm.
Yeah, that team had some issues. I had Love and Herbert as
Well,
my
you can
quarterbacks.
see it, compared to
Yes.
your other two.
Yeah. No, it definitely showed up as the weaker of the teams.
Yeah.
The crazy thing is I'm not sure that August 3rd team I drafted that smart
Hmm.
because I took a shot at Giante end of the first. I was drafting 12th
Hmm.
in that draft. So I had the last pick in the first pick in the second, and I took a shot at Giante there, and that was a bad pick.
Yeah.
And the team ended up number 2 seed. So I had 2, 2, and 6 as my seeds,
Yeah.
which that's about what you'd expect. You'd
Right.
expect your top seeds to make it into the finals. And the crazy thing is in the past with dynasty teams, I've actually done better with my 5 and 6 seeds, and even won from the 8th seed one time
Yeah.
in a 16 team league.
Yeah.
Versus how many times I've had the top team and crapped out. So
Right.
it's in redraft in
Yeah.
FPPC where they grade you on points.
Yeah.
It makes total sense that the top scoring teams would be your stronger playoff teams and not
Right.
run into a buzzsaw. But here's the thing. When it comes to fantasy football, if I follow process, I'm happy win or lose. Like I had one dynasty team last week where when I reset the lineup, I wasn't paying attention at quarterback, and I had Baker Mayfield in ahead of Drake May. And as soon as the game's as soon as the game started, I'm like, oh God, I screwed that up. And I ended up losing by a point and a half.
Sad.
Yeah. And that team was a buzzsaw going into the finals, but I had issues with Kelsey at tight end. I had Vidal at running back, I had Travion Henderson at running back, and Estime at running back. They were the right moves to make, but all three didn't produce anything, enough anyway.
Yeah.
And that team had Puka, and I lost with Puka putting up that huge number. So, but if I put May in the lineup instead of Mayfield, which was the process move, as I stated last week, the sort goes by the highest MVP, and if they've got a big advantage, that's the guy in the game. And May's over 100 on MVP this year, and Mayfield isn't. So that should have been the obvious play. It was the play in every other league I'm in. And that one and what I think it is I just had too many leagues that I was managing this year. So I might make that correction next year and leave a few leagues. Not something I ever like to do, but if I'm going to increase my redraft play, because I'm enjoying redraft more than I'm enjoying dynasty lately, I might need to pivot to dropping a few dynasty teams. And I won't.
Have I had an effect on that, Dennis?
You have. I enjoy the redraft. I really enjoy FPPC. The competition level over there, I think, is just really, really good.
It is.
And I'll make a few bucks if I win 2 out of the 3. I made money this year, so
I'm rooting for you.
Yeah, and so I enjoy the challenge. I've enjoyed that, and for those keeping track at home, half of my dynasty winnings always go into the vacation fund. It will not be London, England. It'll be London, Kentucky. But there's good horse tracks near London, Kentucky.
That's what I was thinking. is you take your winnings, and I wanted to circle back real quick to the situation you had where you and the other guy chopped the pot.
Yeah,
I just wanted to explore that just a little bit. I heard it today on the radio. There was a caller was talking to one of the pundits and was discussing, that. So what historically has that worked out for you, or should you have kept going? In other words, have you done it enough to where this is a good move, or I don't know, but right now I could use the money? You see, I'm saying what long term, since Dennis, we're supposed to be stats driven. I'm just
Yes,
curious if you haven't kept track of that, maybe you should
I
do
have.
simulated chops on all your final teams over the years. Would you have come out better than playing it through? Just curiosity, if nothing else, and
So,
your philosophy about
yep.
it.
So here's my philosophy. First of all, I have never, in the entire time I've played fantasy football, I've
Mhm.
never asked for a split.
Mhm.
However, on this will be my fifth occasion now
Mhm.
where somebody has asked me to
Mhm.
do a split,
A chop.
a chop of the first and second place in the pools.
Mhm.
So, of the previous four,
Mhm.
two times I said no.
Right.
Both of those times I won the money.
Yep.
I won first place money.
Right.
The two that I took the chop in the past
Yeah.
were better to take the chop because I
Yeah.
ended up losing in the final.
Okay.
How did
Okay.
I determine
Yeah.
in those previous four
Right.
how I would do that?
Yeah.
It was by looking at my team
Mhm.
and looking at my opponent's team.
Mhm.
So here's what my opponent has.
Okay.
And why he asked for the split, I'll never know.
Yeah.
Because he's got Mayfield and Prescott at quarterback.
Nice.
Okay. That would be his
Prescott, I
starting
would probably go
quarterbacks.
with. Yeah.
Yep. Well, that is a super flex. So he's starting both.
Always both. Okay.
And he's got Love as his third quarterback who's on the bench
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
probably deserves to be on the bench. My quarterbacks, after injuries and
Mhm.
Tua being benched,
Yeah.
my quarterbacks are Justin Herbert
Mm.
and Kirk Cousins. So at
Little shaky there.
I'm probably giving him at least 10 to
I
15
was about to
points.
say, a little shaky.
All right. At running back, he's got Gibbs,
Mm.
Chase Brown,
Or
ETN.
rub.
I have Kyron Williams,
Mm.
Michael Carter,
Mm-mm.
and Tyrone Tracy.
Oh yeah, he's 20, so he's 30 points ahead of you right now.
Correct. At wide receiver, this is where I got him covered
Yeah.
because I've got Puka,
Yep.
Jamar Chase,
Right.
T Mac. He now says he
Yeah. Yeah.
wants to be
Yeah.
called T Mac,
Yeah.
McMillan, the
Yeah.
rookie from Carolina, and Jacoby Myers.
Okay.
He has Pickens, Najigba, AJ Brown, and Wilson in
You
his
got
starting
those
lineup.
30 back, Dennis.
I got a lot of them back.
So I
And then at
feel it's
then
dead even right now.
at
So
at tight end,
yeah.
I got Kittle versus Ferguson,
Oh, you got that by 10.
unless Kittle doesn't play,
Well, yeah.
because I got Parkinson or Gadsden, and Gadsden's not been
No,
doing
no,
well.
no.
Parkinson's been
Parkinson would have
hitter.
been the play.
He'd be
Yeah,
the play.
then you're equal.
Yeah. So I took this split
Yeah, it
because,
seems to me like it's a
yeah.
coin flip, just on
So
paper.
correct. So I thought, if anything, I'm coming into this a few points behind.
Okay.
Okay. I thought I was 5 to 10. I said I was 5 to 10 points behind.
Yeah.
Sleeper says I'm 24 points behind.
Sleeper's funny. I'm not sure
Sleeper,
I'm buying their.
no, sleeper projections are
Yeah,
very
I'm not
interesting.
buying their stuff.
I don't listen to their projections, but in this case, the split between first and second is rather large too. Okay.
Right.
So by taking the even, it basically made it an even money bet. And with the uncertainty of my quarterback situation, because Prescott and Mayfield can both put up big games. Cousins and Herbert probably will not put up big games.
Yeah.
That's where I was a little concerned. I thought running backs, he's got the advantage. Wide receivers, I got the advantage. Quarterbacks, he's got the advantage.
Right.
And at tight end, it's a push. So that's kind of how I looked at it. And I was like,
okay.
I'm gonna take the sure thing in here and take the split. Plus, sometimes when you take and by the way, coming into this league, in this league, I guess I would say, I was the number 4 seed. He was the number 1 or number 2 seed.
Right.
So I'm thinking, he had the advantage coming in.
Right.
So I'm gonna deal with that and say, he's probably got the advantage over me by a little ways.
Right.
And I didn't think that it was worth taking that gamble.
Right.
And my track record says small sample size.
Right.
Twice I said no, won those. Twice I said yes, I would have lost. So I have been correct in my forecast. And the quarterback play in a super flex is where the money is made. And you can sometimes make up the advantage elsewhere, but boy, you got to be stronger at 2 positions. I'm only stronger at wide receiver.
Okay. I got it. Thanks.
But generally speaking, I don't like to take the split. Like that's me. I've never asked for a split in a pot. Never ever. And the curious part is one of the ones where I said yes to the split. We also had a little side bet. And I lost the side bet. So I don't do side bets anymore. So that's kind of it. But we did a $50 side bet just for fun, and that didn't work out. But no, and here's the thing. I'm in a position where I'm not winning as much this year. And I think that factored into the decision as well. Of saying, if I was cashing 2,000 or 3,000 right now, I had so many teams in the finals that I was likely to cash big money. I would have probably rolled the dice and tried to win another league. In this case, I'll take the split and walk away. I between what I've got in first and second place money, counting some of the best balls and everything else that I'm in, I'm breaking even worse case, depending on what the finals do. If I took that bet, I might lose a few bucks this year. I was like, I'm going to take the conservative approach.
I was not chastising. I was just curious about.
Were you impressed that I actually kept stats on how I've done?
Yeah. Because I've never chopped. Nobody's ever offered in FFPC. And we don't have a mechanism to do it.
I wouldn't trust them.
No, I'm not trusting anybody. We'll split. Anyway, do you want to hit the 2? We got 2 Thursday games.
We have 3 Thursday games.
Oh, we do. Did I forget? Oh yeah, we do.
Because
sounds like I'm sorry, I was forgetting about Kansas City. I didn't see much of a game, Dennis.
That's probably
my bad. My bad.
Probably a good idea to be dissing my boys.
I called Andy and say, "Look, Andy, come play my Saints in Week 18. I just want the pleasure of beating the Kansas City logo." Probably the only time we could do it would be now. So I don't think it's going to go well, but I have talked to the commissioner and all. I called in my voodoo favors from South Louisiana, and that they supported it. My spiritual brethren down in South Louisiana, they support that idea, but it didn't fly elsewhere. So we were hoping that the Saints would get to trade out and face Kansas City, but that wasn't going to be.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I don't think any of these games this weekend or this for Christmas Day, I don't think any of the games on Netflix or
Yeah.
Amazon are going to get any people to sign up just to
Yeah.
watch these games.
I don't, I
They're
don't think so.
indigestion
Yeah.
specials,
Yeah.
if you ask me. But
Okay. So the first one is uh,
Dallas and Washington.
Dallas and Washington.
Yep.
And let me, before we go, let's look at the power rankings. Will be up. My dog's going nuts. I need to put this out here. Let's see. I'm trying to find where Dallas is,
Dallas
but
is pretty high. Dallas is the second highest.
oh yeah, Dallas is good, and then Washington. My dog's he begging to come in the
Washington's in the
door.
red,
Yeah.
right under KC.
Ooh, not good. Not good. So, Dennis, this is another beta test here. I'm gonna let you look at this while I get my dog in. I close the door.
Mm.
So
Ooh,
I'll give this real quick. This is the efficiency scaled across the league for the whole season. And if you look at the doublets, they are each one represents the game. So Washington, Dallas. So I've got it. The first team in the doublet is home. The second team is away. So, and then the in red is where the home team is lower than the visiting team. If it's green, the home team is above predicted efficiency versus the away team. So we have a lot of red teams this week, Dennis. So I have not ever thought of it in this way. Week 17, I find, for betting and other purposes, just the kind of the competition for the week kind of thing. We got a lot of home teams that seem to be on paper less efficient than the teams visited them. So why don't you look
interesting.
through this and let my dog in?
Yeah, this is fascinating data because we always think of the home teams as having a built-in advantage in the NFL. And I know numerically speaking, over the years, Vegas has said that a home field advantage, a generic home field advantage, is
Okay.
worth about 3 points.
Okay.
So, with the home field advantage being worth 3 points, you would expect these efficiency data to be a little closer. But boy, the efficiency looking at these teams, there are not only a lot of road teams or home teams that are at a deficit,
Hurting. Yeah.
but the largeness, the size of these deficits
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
amazing as
And
well.
I've never
Oh,
done this, Dennis. That's why folks, when you make your own metrics and you think about things, sometimes just twisting some things around, and all of a sudden it's a whole new way to look at the weeks. So now I would love to chart all the weeks, right? And have kind of maybe a red, green, blue kind of buckets and compare, are there weeks where it's a lot of green and a few red? Is that making a difference on betting or any kind of close, flex decisions or anything like that, Dennis? But I've never done. I've done efficiency a few years. You've seen that develop, but I've never
yes.
looked at it on top of home away as a metric to parse it out in.
Yeah, and there's a huge deficit for these home teams this week.
Well,
Very, very
one, two,
curious.
three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine,
10.
10. 10. And there's
That's
only
crazy.
where the home team is a clear big advantage compared to the away team.
Yeah, that's huge. That's a
So
huge
I just
number.
don't know, is this a good week to take the over under? Is this a good week to bet the money line? Or you see what I'm saying? If you start correlating with Vegas a little bit, just look at it at again, this top down thing. Nobody I've ever heard about, Dennis, has ever presented a situation like that. You ever heard anybody looking at the week like this? No, you just don't. I think people are missing not having not just stat people, but people who understand analysis, who can do what I've seen you do and what I've done. And we're ESPN, we're waiting. I've got the red phone. You can call me for your lifeline.
Get the
Dennis
hotline.
and I will put y'all back on the map. Y'all been sliding these last few years. We can put your analytics back there. And anyway, Dennis, it's not a lot to say. I mean, it is what it is. It's just now I'm going to go back and start correlating in the off season. But I thought I would present this today to for you just to consider in the off season. So I don't know if we did team MVP, for instance, versus home away. Or, you see what I'm saying? If we had, or maybe even running back MVP or wide receiver or tight end versus home away. Maybe there's other ways to look at MVP at the team level and do efficiency and whatnot.
Yeah, one interesting thing that I would want to look at is the how the gap, how big of a gap
Yeah,
is significant, because it's one thing to be, 10 points down on efficiency.
right.
Is that significant?
I
I
don't
don't know.
know. I mean,
So,
I can do the box and I
yeah,
can tell you the extremes if you wanted. You could probably guess the extremes.
yeah, I'd be interested to see what the win-loss record is at
Yeah,
different
that kind of
scaled
thing. And
efficiency
and
deals.
again,
Yeah,
once I'm charting this, we could come back at win loss
I'm
or
loving
total
this.
points scored or
Yeah,
or total yards or total touchdowns. I mean, we could look at all this.
and we have noticed, though, that those big gaps in efficiency, it's hard. It's
Yeah.
hard to beat. It's
So it
hard to
looks
beat.
like, for instance, looking at Carolina versus Seattle, on paper, Seattle should just tear them up.
Yeah.
And, Cleveland versus Pittsburgh's another one. Atlanta versus the Rams. And again, Vegas, look at the money line, look at the over under on some of these extreme teams. And is there one where Vegas is extreme, but the efficiency's not? In other words, the opposite scenario.
Yeah,
Try,
and here's one that comes leaping off. So you've got a 17-point gap in efficiency
yeah,
between Detroit and Kansas City, yet you have a 13.5-point spread, versus Dallas and Washington, where the spread is 44 between the
yeah,
efficiency
but it's
and the
Minnesota versus Detroit, Kansas City versus Denver.
no, I'm saying Dallas and Washington,
Yeah,
the
right.
spread in
It's like
efficiency
double.
is 44,
Yeah,
and the point spread's only 8.5.
that
The
kind of thing.
the gap between KC and Denver
Yes,
is
is much
is much
closer.
different,
Yeah.
much closer. And likewise, the difference between Minnesota and Detroit
Mhm.
is much less, than the Dallas Washington
Right.
split. Yet the point spread's almost identical.
Yeah.
Now, we also have to understand that the point spreads are also psychological, because,
Yeah.
they're trying to get action on different teams. And
Right.
Dallas is you know, I think people like to bet against Dallas.
Yeah.
I think as many people as like to bet with Dallas like to see Dallas lose and bet against them. So I'm wondering if that factors into the spread at all. And but very interesting data. We
Yeah, I
need to
just
do
wanted to
more
introduce
research.
this, Dennis,
Yeah, I
and
like it.
yeah, I figured you would. So, and this is, I haven't quite done it this way before. This is just the home away data, and you can see the home centric teams are in green, the away centric teams are in no, this is home away uh, efficiency ratio, and just looking at the differences here. The purple is the box and anything above or below. So again, I have no clue if this is real or not. And I also have the rushing attempts. Green are predicted to rush more this week. Red predicted to rush less. And then the passing attempts, green are higher passing. So, Dennis, when I was considering Geno, look at Vegas compared to their usual, they're number one predicted by passing attempts this week. Right there.
And
And the
yeah,
Giants, who they're playing, is number two.
yeah, it's gonna be a crazy game to try to predict over there.
I'm
But
just
here's
saying, but
but
look at that. So
yeah,
it's again, I'm just doing this, folks. And again, the box, if you think of the box and whisker, between the purple is the box, and lower is the low whisker, and upper is the upper whisker. So I'm
and what
just,
I'm yeah,
yeah,
what I'm
go,
wondering with Las Vegas,
yeah,
okay.
yeah,
I I could see the ratio being skewed to the pass,
yeah,
but I could see the overall number of plays from scrimmage being below median.
yes.
So
This
if you
doesn't check,
yeah,
check. This is just in, away from what they can do, as you say,
yeah,
plays.
yeah. So I'm interested. This, folks, is what I would call the start of
Yes.
research on this subject. There are so many different ways that you can parse this data,
Yeah.
but the important thing is to start.
Yeah.
Once you start the research projects, they will often lead you
Yeah.
to three or four follow up ideas.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're just sitting there saying, I wonder, and you don't do the research, then you don't get off of
Yeah.
any, you don't even start at
Yeah.
understanding where this data goes.
Yeah.
And as we've judged by the professor picking matchups against all of the TSA folks who, quite frankly, the sports affiliation group
It's
people,
pretty good,
I,
folks.
I think they're a little smarter than the average Joe.
Yeah. Average
You've
bears. Yeah.
you beat us all to a
And I
pulp.
got 2 weeks, so I want to finish off the season. Uh, I think I'm 5 games ahead in picking here, Dennis. I'm looking at the pool. Yeah, I'm 165. Sniper Mel is at 160.
Yeah, I think you're in good shape
I
going
got
into the last two
five
weeks.
games ahead him, and so I'm 165, 75.
And that's a
So I
smart
am,
dude. He went into the final four in the TSA league as well. He's
yeah.
not only good at picking winners, but he's pretty damn good at playing fantasy football as well.
Oh, I'm sure he's good. I could tell that he's a hot dog like that, and I think that's great. I don't know. Trouble is, I don't know enough to know is how to make this money. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
How to make
Yes.
some money from this. So that's a 55% win, I think, 45% loss. So I don't know book wise, is that unusual? I don't know what the best pickers at Vegas do. I mean,
Yeah,
that may not be good enough.
60% is usually considered pretty good.
Yeah. So
And the thing is like the rake is going to beat you.
Yeah,
So there's
that's
a
the thing.
reason those sports books don't get smaller.
Yeah, I know. It's like horse racing. Same thing. You got that rake to worry about.
Big
Okay.
time rake and horse racing, man.
So anyway,
That's
I wanted to introduce the new thing and
love
just
it.
kind of, yeah, just to wet your whistle. And folks, I will jump in before we hit the Thursday games. I'm very excited, I know Dennis is, to do and share with the few of you our journey on the off season because that's part of our process. We don't go to sleep and wake up in
No.
August and start drafting. Dennis is on top of this stuff. I'm going to make his opportunity index. I'm going to put him to work because we need to get better and because we're greedy and I want more.
Oh
I
yeah.
want Dennis and I to do 3 times our finals next year. That's our
Oh yeah.
goal.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Dennis, I'm just telling you now, okay, I'm expecting 9 finals here. Okay, so that's your goal. Okay, that's your target. So we need to get serious there. And like I said, I made it to the draft night out. I want to win. If I don't win, next year I want to win. So we're going to have to quit playing around with these clowns and whip their butt. Okay, so that was my.
Yeah, we don't like to lose in any league. We
Ooh,
understand
no.
that injuries are going to affect us at some
Yeah.
times, and you can have the perfect strategy and still not win.
Mhm.
That's why you diversify your portfolio
Yep.
by taking that $500 and playing in 50 $10 leagues
Yeah.
instead of playing
Yeah.
in one $500 league. You
Yep.
you spread the risk, and
Yep.
the injuries even themselves out, and so does the luck.
Dallas, Washington. It's Vegas says it's Dallas all the way. Touchdown better, 51. That's good gravy points. So, and look at the dabs. Play them all. Dallas, play them all. I mean, there's a little bit on the tight end, but since Ertz is gone, I'm not sure what's there. But Dallas is a streamable. I'm not playing them because I know they're good last few weeks have been getting turnovers and stuff. I'm not going. I just not. I'm not brave enough, Dennis. But they are theoretically, if you're in a bind, theoretically, the data says Dallas is streamable. Washington's at home, Dallas away. Dallas is double the efficiency.
Wow.
Yeah, and again, this week it's predicted that Washington is 18% more rushing, about 4% less passing. Dallas away, Dennis, is 7 and 4% less than league average. So even though they've got this high point total, historically they've been below league average in dealing, but rushing and passing. But what I like about Dallas is they're kind of balanced, and I think with the rushing and the passing, I think that's what's giving them the edge over Washington. But I just don't know this new quarterback. That's the wild because this data is looking, the season and the efficiency and all is looking with, better quarterbacks than the one. Who are they? Because Mariota's hurt. See, we've had the regular guy and Mariota, and they've done fairly well, Dennis,
Oh
at
yeah.
home.
Yeah,
But now, yeah,
Mariota was really not much of a drop off.
yeah,
And
but
if
now
you look
we've
at the
got this
stats.
other, I don't even know who's Josh Johnson.
Josh Johnson,
So, I
14th
mean,
different
just
team.
realize this data is built on other quarterbacks. And again, historically, I don't know how loosey goosey some of this data gets, but they're both declining in the last 3 weeks compared to the season. That's probably not surprising. Both Dallas and Washington. So there is some good news for both teams, and there's some sad news. But it looks like it should be a shootout. I think Vegas, and so I'm not scared of playing anybody. I don't think right now. It's hard to find some. The only one that I'm just, if Ferguson doesn't do it today, I don't know what's going on because this is extra easy. Dennis, Washington just hands out, snacks and gummies to the tight end as they're catch. I mean, they're giving them all opportunities here. So this is the week. If you're a Ferguson believer, he should collect this week.
Yeah, Washington hadn't been able to stop much of anything, especially lately. So the only sort of monkey in the wrench, as they say,
Yep.
is the possibility of some rain and wind to go with this game.
Well,
So
that would be sad.
yeah, so I like the under in here because I'm not sure that Washington can get to 18 and a half, and I'm not sure Dallas is going to need to get to 32 and a half. So I
Right.
like the under in here, but boy, it's hard to pick against the Dallas Cowboys in this one with all the negatives going on with Washington. Detroit, Minnesota will
Woo
be the
woo.
middle game.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting for Detroit because you can the DAPs just slap you in the face that it says it's going to be tough. But I mean, tough to the Sun God if he's healthy, and Goff. It looks like it's a Gibbs game to me. That's if Minnesota accidentally somehow beats them or is competitive, it's because Gibbs is not doing things. But Gibbs should have a great game. The kicker should be good, Dennis. I know you got the kicker. And
Yep.
Detroit's D should take and bake away from the quarterback and get fumbles and sacks. There should be all sorts of goodness for Detroit. Detroit is a nice streaming defense this week. Minnesota, it looks like passing should be, and I know Hawkinson's hurt, so I don't know who's left. But if Justin Jefferson can't do it now, or I don't know. I don't even know what to think about that.
Oh,
I grabbed the wrong one here, Dennis. I'm sorry. I don't have the efficiency right now. I guess I was cranky. I'll have to change that. But anyway, I'll stop there and let you discuss.
yeah, with Hawkinson out, it'll be Josh Oliver at tight end. He's been okay,
Yeah.
but that was with McCarthy. Now he gets Max Brosmer. Justin Jefferson this week on my Leaders of the Pack article.
Yeah.
I almost was brought to tears when I saw that he dropped to 25th. I
Yeah.
mean, this was a first round draft pick in fantasy football who's now 25th. That's a WR3.
Right.
That's scary. So in this game, I like Detroit, but I also like the under. I have worries about Detroit's offense not being as sizzling strong, but
Mhm.
I also worry about Minnesota not being able to hit that 16. So I'm looking at this game being more of maybe a 23 with three kicks for my fantasy football kicker. Uh, Bates and maybe Minnesota at 10. So I could see this game being a snoozer of a game. I like Detroit. I do like spotting that 7.5 with comfort, and I like the under in
So I
this one.
will jump in and say Detroit is should rush 10% more, pass 5% less. Minnesota has been doing both above league average 8 and 9. They've been
Interesting.
balanced. So they're just not a hopeless situation. But who's their quarterback this week? I'm losing.
It'll be Max
Yeah,
Brosmer instead
that's
of
what's gonna
JJ
that's the
McCarthy.
fatal flaw right there, Dennis. But if
Yeah.
they had their usual, I think they could give Detroit a run, but not with the mystery quarterback. So I think Detroit should whip them pretty good. As you say, I'm not sure scoring. Does Detroit need all those points to beat Minnesota, given what's been going on?
Yeah, going to be a lean one in the middle game. And for fun, let's look at Denver in Kansas City. It's the
Dennis,
nightcap on
13, so
Christmas
basically
night.
two touchdowns. Kansas
Look at
City gets a safety.
look at the dog score. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, the dog's even upset about that. A safety and a field goal. That's it for Kansas City, Dennis.
Oh,
So 36, that is such a sad score.
oh.
The Daps, though, say play Kelsey all day long. I picked Kelsey to bust last week. I'm actually thinking he might get you 10. I may not bench him this week, but I'm not ecstatic about him either. But I was really down last week. So I guess I think my opinion's closer to about average there, but still, uh, Kansas City, I think Pacheco, it looked last week, they're going to rely on him to give that quarterback a shot at hitting maybe what, Juju, maybe Worthy, I don't know, whoever they can hit. Kelsey, they need to hit somebody somewhere. I wouldn't mess with the KCD given all this. Denver's D, you could, but I'm waiting elsewhere. The Kansas City has been below average, which is kind of tough, but it's not scary anymore, Dennis. And so I think Denver's going to have its way. In the past, with normal quarterbacks play, Mahomes, they've been all about the rush at the home. 56 more rushing, Dennis, but they're declining, of course. But so I think they're going to try to keep this close and rush and give that quarterback a punter's chance. I just don't think Denver's going to allow that to happen. Denver away is 7 and 10% less rushing and passing, so they're not very dynamic. So I see this low score, and it looks like if you look at the efficiency, if you look at the bias on the rush pass, that it's telling me that there's less activity than usual in this kind of situation. So I'm not sure I would bet the over on this, even at 36.
Yeah, this is a game where I think I like the under, but I wouldn't bet it. I think this could be like a 17-9 stinker
Yeah,
of a game.
yeah,
So I wouldn't bet the point spread either because Kansas City's defense can be kind of angry at times. So although their defense is also has injury concerns in addition, Chris Oladikan actually played pretty well in the preseason in the
right.
past couple of years. He is a really good dynamic running quarterback, but his arm and his decision making are a little bit questionable.
Right.
So you got to pick Denver to win this one. They've got something to play for. Kansas City doesn't. I'm just hoping that this isn't the way that Travis Kelsey's career ends at home. I hope he comes back for another year so he can go out on a much better note than playing this game in front of a what could be a cranky Arrowhead home crowd because
Yeah.
they just announced they're leaving Arrowhead in 5 more years. So I don't know if that's going to go over well. The fact that the team is a train wreck right now. This is a sad way to end this run that the Chiefs have had, but you got to pick Denver in
Yeah.
this one. And one breaking news, though, in
Oh,
this game, Pat Bryant has now been ruled out for tomorrow's game. So they'll be
interesting.
down
And
one.
Rashi Rice is out.
Rashi Rice is done for the season. In retrospect, ended up being one of the worst draft picks that I made this year. You
Yeah.
missed the first six, and then you're missing the last three. That's not a good pick there, and we'll have to analyze this whole missing games thing.
Yep.
Although, if he comes back and Mahomes stays healthy and the Chiefs' offense is fine, You got him for the stretch for the fantasy football playoffs. So, you know, the reasoning was sound in that pick because you got him so cheap. But boy, in retrospect, it really, really hurt. So head on over to the science of fantasyfootball.com. I got 2 articles up this week,
They're
and the
up.
professor's got a lot of data. But that editor working on Christmas Eve, man,
Yeah,
working his tail
they're
off.
up and out. Yeah.
Got to triple that guy's salary. Head on over to the sportsaffiliation.com. You will want to catch up our sister podcast, The Matchup Lab, on Saturday. And of course, like and subscribe on their YouTube page because you do not want to miss a single show over there at TSA. And of course, come back here Saturday after you're done opening all your presents tomorrow for another edition of the Science of Fantasy Football.
Get to work, folks.